Hello everyone to tonight's episode of Dead Talk Live. I'm your host Viz from Walking Dead Now. Our broadcast tonight and every night is simultaneously live streamed to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Starts every night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you to our viewer interactive show where our followers are the stars of the show. Thank you to all our followers across all our social platforms. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, thank you so much. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which would be much appreciated, and watch this show with all the bells and whistles that YouTube has to offer, after the show, head on over to YouTube and search for our channel called Walking Dead Now. You can watch our live streams, catch up on prior episodes, and watch our fan-created Walking Dead videos, which include compilations, tributes, commentary, fan trailers, exclusive content, and on and on and on. So how is everyone doing tonight? Hard Productions from YouTube. Hey, Bad Weather 320 on Instagram. How you doing, Bad Weather? First time here. Welcome to our show, Bad Weather 320. And I hope you become a regular. We have a lot of regulars in here, and I'm glad to see new people coming in. I'm glad to see everyone. Saz is here on YouTube. Let me bring up the universal chats. You guys can, so the people on Instagram can see the people on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Unfortunately, Instagram people, your chats, because of Instagram, are not allowed to be universally broadcasted. Nothing I can do about that. That's on Instagram. I hope everyone is having a good day. We had such a full show yesterday. I did not get to show you guys what I put together. I put together a bunch of Walking Dead sound bites, from Negan, Eugene, Rick, Joe the Marauder, and of course, Abraham. Okay? And, if this annoys you guys, just let me know. I'll stop it. But some of these are just hysterical. Like, let me just show you. Let me have you guys listen to this one.
I don't give a monkey's left nut.
Hey, McKenna Lacey 999. Did you guys hear that? That was Abraham. And let me tell you, it's an endless supply of Abrahamisms out there. And I mean, I've got a ton of these. Listen to this one.
Son of a dick.
Anyway, okay, I'll stop. I'm like a little boy at a toy store. Okay, I'll play them when they become appropriate. Hey, Ismail, we missed you yesterday. You weren't on the show yesterday, so we figured you were busy. But thank you for joining us tonight. Marcos Gamer Phoenix from YouTube. Hi, thank you for joining us, Marcos. Marco tonight is, our producer Marco is handling the text chatting, and I'll be talking to you guys live on the air, as always. Well, here's today's tidbit. I love these tidbits. I really do. I think they're interesting. Now, this is going to go a little bit way back for some of you, but I don't know how many of you guys saw the 2007 movie, The Mist. But anyway, it was a great movie. The Mist is a novel by Stephen King, okay? And in that movie, The Mist, were like a phenomenal amount of future Walking Dead stars. And I put together the picture right here, okay? And you guys can see Andrea, Dale, Carole, and this guy right here, who goes by the name of Sam Witwer. He was the tank zombie, as you can see on the picture on the right. He was the tank zombie in the series premiere of The Walking Dead, where Rick almost blew his head off because he was trapped and cornered before Glenn got him on the radio. So, yeah, it's the 2000. Now, I gotta keep reiterating, it's the 2007, the movie The Mist, not to be confused with the 2017 TV show, The Mist, which was also very good. So, if you guys want to see it, unfortunately, I checked before the show tonight. It's not available on Netflix. In fact, It's not available on any of the free streaming services. It's available for rental and sale, like I'm on Amazon Prime, on Google Play, and so on, but it's not available anywhere for free streaming, which really, really sucks. Hey, Lee, Lucifer Warlock is with us. How you doing, Lee? So yeah, Marco, that does suck. It's not available for streaming, and I remember watching this movie years ago, and I was just amazed. I'm like, oh my God, that's Andrea, that's Dale, that's Carole. And Marco brought it to my attention that this guy right here is the walker that Rick came across in the tank. Khalid writes, is Netflix free? We wished. No, Netflix is not free. It's a monthly subscription. Nowhere near being free. In fact, they keep raising their prices and their subscribers keep going up. It's because they do have amazing content. I love Netflix. I mean, I can't say anything bad about Netflix. I love them. When I started out with them, it was like $7.99. Now I'm paying $15.99, but I don't care. It's worth it. For me, it's worth every penny. Well, today, going on to the next bit of announcements here, I posted the webisodes from Fear the Walking Dead, called Flight 462, and from The Walking Dead, called Red Machete. And I got to tell you guys, the response that I got, or that I saw across all the social media platforms, was phenomenal. I was not expecting that many people to just not even know it existed. First of all, a lot of people did not even know that those two webisodes did not exist. And I posted the complete series as one whole, like 14-minute package to all my social media accounts. Ismail loves the Red Machete. Yep, that was awesome. And Ismail, I loved how when it got to the Rick scenes, when the machete was passed on to him, instead of showing, the Rick scenes in the real Walking Dead episodes, they switched to the comic book scenes of Rick and the Red Machete. I thought that was fantastic. We got to see Joe the Marauder and his group of marauders, the Nomads. Hard Productions writes, the Red Machete one was crazy. And I loved how in the end it came full circle. It came back full circle and it ended up back in, I believe the girl's name was Mandy. It ended up back in her hands, and she placed it over the graves of her mom and dad. That was so sad. So sad. Lee writes, I enjoy your recently posted Red Machete. Yep, that's what we're talking about, Lee. The Red Machete, Flight 462 from Fear the Walking Dead. Huge response on Instagram. I posted I posted Flight 462 before I went to bed last night, and I woke up today to it having over 5,000 views. And I didn't get a full night's sleep. I only slept like 4.5 hours. Yan Andrande 71 gives me a big thumbs up. Hey Yan, you're a newcomer to the show. Thank you for joining us. Pedro, waving back at you, buddy, on Instagram. Thank you, Pedro, for joining us. Marcos Gamer Phoenix on Instagram. On YouTube is a big Carl's Grimes fan. Yep, right with you there, Marcos. We all love Carl. And we all miss Carl very much, very much. So we are continuing on our contest, as we have been for the last, 4 or 5 days. It's going to go on for several weeks. We have a lot to give away. And I know I said yesterday that I would wait 2 days to reveal the next set of action figures, but I just couldn't wait. I wanted to put these two out there today, together. And today I revealed Herschel and the Governor. And it's appropriate. The Governor killed Herschel. I had to put these two up together. And if you look closely at the governor doll, you get the governor with both eyes, and you get the governor with the one-eyed patch. You can flip faces on the governor. How cool is that? TWC, The Walking Dead, thank you for joining us on Instagram. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, so how cool is that governor doll? You get the governor with both eyes before Michonne took out his eye, and then you get the governor with the one-eyed patch. So I had to put these out together. I just was so excited. I'm like, I'm not going to wait till another day. I want to get these out there. I think people are going to love them. They're going to be great. And on that scene that I have up, you have two bad guys and Gareth and the governor. And you have Herschel in the middle. Herschel does have both legs. He's not missing a leg. They're still in the box, and I'm not sure. This would be interesting if anyone ever opens these, which I don't recommend, since these are probably going to be worth a lot of money in the future. He has the canes to walk with, but I see that he has two legs, so I don't know if the leg comes off or not. But that's pretty cool. Stuart, how you doing, Stuart? Welcome back. Remember you. Hem1E joined us. Hey, Hem. Stuart Truthy, Ryan Santos 20, Big Love Smiley Faces, Bad Weather 320 on Instagram. Love that. I met Scott Wilson in Nashville 2 years ago at FanFest. Fantastic guy. That is so cool. That is so cool, Bad Weather 320. Ismail, exactly. It looks like he has both his legs. Ismail writes, what does he have, the canes? It looks like he has both his legs, but they give him the cane. So I'm assuming that I believe he lost his right leg. The right leg has to be removable. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay. Yeah, Marco, when Scott Walker died, it was a loss. A great actor there. So let me show you the other, for the newcomers, the other prizes that we've had up. Okay, we have Tyrese. Tyrese is still available. That is surprising to me. But I can understand it's hard to pick. Whoever the winner is of the contest just gets to pick one. And it is hard to choose. But Tyrese is still available. Beth is still available. We have Gas Mask, Riot Gear Zombie, RV Zombie, Bungee Walker. Okay, so that's like 3, 5. We have 8 action figures for choosing today. Sirion72 giving me a big thumbs up. Cyroland72 on Instagram. Big thumbs up back at you. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, those are tonight's prizes. And for the new people joining us for the first time today, what I do is 30 minutes into the show, Hard Production writes it was really hard to pick. He was our winner last night. Hard Productions from YouTube was our winner last night. And I agree, Hard Productions, it is very hard to choose. So what I do every night is 30 minutes into the show, I will read off the trivia question. And the first person who calls in with the right answer gets to pick. It's simple as that. You can't chat in your answer. You can't type it in. You do have to call. The number is right up there on the screen. I added the number to all the screens so you guys would have access to it whenever you want. It is 718-509-9270. It's a normal call in the United States. You can use your mobile phone, landline, whatever you want. If you're outside the United States, the phone call is completely free if you use Skype. So if you're international, if you're outside the United States, just use Skype to call that number, 718-509-9270, and the call is absolutely free. And I will read the question in approximately 15 minutes from now. TWC The Walking Dead. I live in Long Island, New York. TWC The Walking Dead. I am from Queens, New York. So it's great to have more New Yorkers in here. So welcome, TWC. Tonight we are going to be talking about the women of The Walking Dead. And two particular women. Okay, we're going to be talking about Carole and Maggie. I know it's like beating a dead horse with those two. I never think those two never get old to me. And the arcs that their characters have taken over the seasons. TWC writes, I've seen the number, and that's why I was letting you know. Yep. I'm not in New York, TWC, but I picked that number, for nostalgia. I still have a house. I have family in New York. I was born and raised there for the first 23 years of my life. So that's why I chose the 718 number. Nostalgia. So like I said, we're going to be talking about two women in particular, Carole and Maggie, and basically the character arcs that their characters have taken, what they had to endure, and basically all the stuff they had to endure and how it made them who they are. And from there, you guys are going to lead the conversation to wherever you want to take it, okay? I'm just going to start out talking about them. Isaac on YouTube. Yep, sorry, Isaac. Don't speak Spanish. I'm sorry, my friend. So yeah, let's start off with Carole, the battered and abused wife, who was married to Ed. And we saw what kind of a jerk he was in season 1. And we saw how timid, shy, defensive, protective, little mousy Carole. And compare that to the season where I loved Carole the most, has to be season 6. When they make it to Alexandria, and she plays the role of little Betty Crocker homemaker perfectly to all the Alexandrians, cooking, baking cookies, sharing recipes with all the other housewives. And when the wolves came and attacked, and within a split second, she just flipped and became Killer Carole. I love that. I just absolutely love that. Hard Production writes, Carole is one of my favorite characters. Mine too, Hard Productions on YouTube. Mine too. But season 6 was her peak. She was playing that role of little, Miss Homemaker, sharing recipes, baking cookies, hanging out with the housewives, and pretending not to, to totally be just completely reliant on men to take care of her. And then she would go and visit Rick and tell Rick that Peter is beating Jesse, and just flat out telling Rick, you need to kill him. I mean, she didn't even just try to hint at it or beat around the bush. Flat out told Rick, you need to kill him. Awesome. And she approached Peter herself in Alexandria. She brought over some cookies. I don't know if you guys remember that scene. She pulls out her knife. This is after Rick and Pete got into that fight where they busted through that window. How many of you guys remember that? And they busted through that window, and, she pays him a visit. He's all battered and bandaged up, and she pulls out her knife, and she's like, I can kill you. I can kill you right now if I wanted to. Didn't even flinch. And she had him shitting in his pants. She had him shitting in his pants. So that's why Carole season 6 is my favorite season, of Carole. I mean, I loved her in all the seasons, and I loved just the whole arc her character has taken. But season 6 Carole is my favorite. Absolutely. Marko writes, Michonne had to knock Rick out. I remember that. Yeah. They knew they were going to get kicked out. And Michonne did what she had to do. Rick was out for Pete, and they got into a fight, busted through that window, and Rick was beating him pretty bad, and Michonne had to come, and he lost it there. He was yelling at everybody, and she just came and whacked him in the back of the head with the butt of a gun, knocked him out cold. Khalid is laughing. That was hysterical. And then if you guys remember, later on, not that much later on, when Pete came in with that katana he stole from Michonne and he killed Reg, and Rick was about to pull out his gun, and Carole looks at him and she says, "Not now." You know, like she's directing him. You know, she knows how the people there are going to interpret it, because they have not tried to survive outside the walls of Alexandria. They don't know what it's like out there. And if they see somebody just pull out a gun and shoot them. So Carole says to him, "Not now." And it wasn't until Deanna had Reg die in her arms that she turns to Rick and tells him, "Do it." And that's when he pulls out his gun and takes Pete out. Good riddance. Ismail writes, "How many of you do I have to kill in order to save you?" That's exactly the quote. That's the quote. That's exactly what Rick told him. He's like, I know, it was something like, you know, I was trying to figure out how many of you I have to kill in order to save your lives. And Marko writes that changed Deanna as well. It did. You know, once Rick and everybody else arrived in Alexandria, it's just really hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that Alexandria was just so oblivious to what was going on outside of their walls. Because it's not like Rick ran into them, you know, Rick and everybody else ran into them just very, you know, within a couple of weeks after the apocalypse started. They were in Alexandria for a while. And to just have them be so oblivious. And Rick really did not trust them. They're like, these people are weak, they're going to die. And the moment that changed for Rick was when Carl got shot and Rick walked out of the infirmary pissed and just started taking out those walkers. He just started taking them out. And then everybody was locked up in their houses because the walls had fallen and the walkers had just swarmed Alexandria. And Rick just starts taking them on by himself. And then slowly you see everybody start coming out of their house and joining him. And, you know, they all joined in. And then Abraham, Daryl, Sasha showed up. Glenn with Enid came in to help. And they did it. They took out the walkers. And it was that moment that Rick realized that these people, they have what it takes. They have what it takes. That was a great episode. That is one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorite episodes. It's hard to just pick one. Bad Weather 320 writes, "My favorite Carole episode was season 4, The Grove, when she killed Lizzie. Oh my God. Look at the flowers. Just look at the flowers, Lizzie. Just look at the flowers." Wow. I mean, watching that live, I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. And then you have to put yourself in her shoes. You have to put yourself in Carole's shoes. And here you have this little girl. I don't like to use the word psycho. Hey, Steven from YouTube. Steven Garza is joining us. How you doing, buddy? I'm glad you could join us tonight. Oh, let me bring up that chat, you know? I keep forgetting. You guys are... These are all the chats, guys, from Instagram that are going on YouTube. So, Steven writes, "Pretty good, just chilling." Good, good. I'm glad you could join us, man. I'm glad you could join us. We're just talking about the badass women of The Walking Dead, particularly Carole and Maggie. we haven't gotten to Maggie yet. We started with Carole. And, they just brought up when Carole had to put down Lizzie for killing Mika. Put yourself in Carole's shoes. What do? You have this girl who just killed her sister, was about to kill a baby, in Judith. How do you sleep with that little girl next to you? And there's no hospitals you can take her to or commit her. So Carole did what she had to do, and it was very hard to watch. Mad gives me a big thumbs up. Lacal.anas. Welcome, Lacal. And Carole did what she had to do. Hard Productions writes, I don't think I could have done it. Tyrese couldn't do it. No way. But you saw the look on his face. He knew it had to be done. Someone had to do it. And it was Carole. And like I've said so many times in the past, Carole has just had the worst luck with children. If you see Carole become close to any child, that child is doomed. There's no other way to put it. So that's Carole right there. And we can go on talking about Carole and the moments that she had when she torched the saviors right after the communities, well, basically Alexandria went in and slaughtered the saviors because they made a deal with Gregory. And that was a big mistake they made right there. And Carole and Maggie end up getting kidnapped. And they overtake them. And then they call in the other saviors. They know they're coming. And they rig the room up with gasoline. Carole lights up a cigarette. And as soon as they walk into the room, she flicks the cigarette into the room. And shuts the door behind them and burns them alive. That's not the only time Carole has burned people alive. In season 9, she burned the remaining saviors that rebelled and went off on their own, and they tried to steal from her and Henry. Yeah, while Henry was asleep, she found them and burned their asses to crisp as well. Ismail writes, Sophia, Lizzie, Mika, Henry. Bad weather, 320, laughing. Yeah, we can talk about Carole for days and all the moments that she's had. But let's move on to the good old farm girl, Maggie. That's right, Hart Productions. Carole blew up Terminus. She saved all their asses. We can go on for days. That was a whole chain of events. If Rick did not exile her from Alexandria, she would not have been able to save them by coming to their rescue while they were, lined up to be slaughtered like cows at Terminus. She helped them escape. She's been a hero so many times. And Marko writes, that's the best season premiere. It is. That Terminus season premiere. And I've been watching horror movies since I was 5 years old. That one, I've said this before, it was hard for me to watch. It was very disturbing. Very disturbing. Very hard to watch. That's what made it such an amazing episode. So, Ismail writes Maggie. So let's talk about, country farm girl Maggie. And her character arc. It's not as dramatic as Carole's, but it is as equally important with all the people she has lost. Her father, her sister, her husband, made her into the Maggie that hung Gregory. And she hung Gregory from Hilltop in front of Rick to prove a point, because she was pissed that Negan was still alive. And she wanted to show Rick what her idea of justice was. Digna on Instagram waving at us. Hello, Digna. Digna Centino 735 on Instagram. How you doing? Ismail writes, honestly, what did she see in Glenn that episode in the pharmacy? Oh, come on, Ismail, be nice. Glenn and Maggie made a great couple. You know, it was a little awkward in the beginning in season 2 when they did hook up because Glenn, you know, the character just came across as just so inexperienced. And if you guys remember, he had to turn to Dale for advice on girls, which is what made Dale such a great character. Dale was like the daddy figure of the group at the time, and then Herschel became the daddy figure, the father figure of the group. Anyway, guys, we're 31 minutes in. It's time for our trivia question. It's time for our trivia question. And those who have been watching, you know that these questions are not easy. So, cue up Google. Cue up Google. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to get your Google searches ready. The phone number is right there on top of the screen, 718-509-9270. I've got my phone app open, waiting to take your calls. I'm all set. You guys ready for the question? You ready for tonight's trivia question and who gets to pick the next action figure? Out of the 8 that we currently have available, and there are more to come. All right. Okay. Here we go. Like I said, these are not easy, and all these questions are given to us. Hey, Lifting Fit Journey. I'm glad to see you, man, all the way from Kuwait. Thank you for staying up late and joining us. Lifting Fit is Journey. Khalid is ready. Ismail is ready. Everybody's ready. Okay. I do like to help you guys out. I could just straight out read the question, which would have you guys just completely scratching your head. But I do like to give you a little bit of a background so you know the time period that we're talking about. So this timeline, this time period, we're going back to the prison, before the prison fell, with our little psycho girlfriend Lizzie that we were just talking about. Okay? Now, Lizzie and some of the other children were playing with a bunch of walkers at the prison and giving them names. One of the walker had a name tag on its shirt, and they started calling that walker by that name. What was that name? What was that walker's name is today's trivia question. First one to call and answer correctly gets to pick their action figure. So, let's see who calls in first, okay? Lizzie and the other kids in the prison were playing on the other side of the fence with walkers, naming them. Lizzie was humanizing them. One of them had a name tag on, and Lizzie was calling that walker by that name. First one to call in with the right answer on what that name was gets to pick the prize. Okay, so while you guys Google that answer, we'll continue on with Maggie. Okay, Lifting Fit Journey writes, best of luck, everyone. I'm too sleepy to call. Ismail writes, oh man, I'm telling you, these are not easy. Marko, our producer, comes up with great questions, and he's got a ton of them. These have to be the hardest Walking Dead trivia questions. I mean, you guys have to really know your stuff. So, EMK Blandenford. Hey you, how you doing, EMK? Thank you for joining us on Instagram. Saz, you know the answer? Just let me know if you know the answer, Saz, on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, Saz, by the way. I didn't see you earlier. You do know the answer. Oh, Saz knows the answer. Hey, Saz, there's no limit. Call in. If you know the answer, call in, Saz. Call in with the answer. You get to pay. You'll get to have $2. dolls. Sorry, action figures. Sorry about that. They're not dolls. They're not meant to be played with. So, hard production rights. I don't know this one, but I remember her naming them. Yeah. She humanized them in every possible way. All right, Saz. All right, that's nice of you. But if we get close to the end and nobody's called, we have to give away an action figure. So if you get close to the end, you give me a call, okay? Deal? Deal. Just call me if nobody comes up with the answer, because I do want to give one away. I'm dying to give one away. Okay, deal. All right, great. So Saz knows the answer, but she's going to give somebody else a chance to call it in. And if we get close to the end of the show and nobody's called, she's going to call and claim the prize. Oh, and we do have a caller. You are on Dead Talk with Viz. What is your name?
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Was it Nick?
The answer is Nick. Congratulations. What's your name?
My name's Kevin Rainey. I'm Bad Weather 320.
Bad Weather 320. That's like this. I mean, that's another. You're the second winner in a row who you're joining us for the first time tonight, correct?
Yes.
You're the second winner in a row who joined us for the first night and got to win the prize.
That's cool, man.
So congratulations. So let me bring up the action figures to show you.
Okay.
Oh, Summer from Twitter is with us. Hey, Summer. I'm here. What's the question? Somebody just answered it, Summer. I'll repeat the question in a second. Let the winner of tonight's contest pick their prize. So, Bad Weather, we have Tyrese, Beth, Gas Mask Riot Gear Zombie. We have RV Zombie, Bungee Walker, Gareth, Herschel, and the Governor with replaceable faces. Two-eyed Governor or one-eyed Governor, all in one package. So what is your choice?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I would love to have Herschel.
Herschel, great choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely great choice. And like I said,
he was a great guy. I got the chance to meet him before he passed.
Yeah.
And he was just spectacular to be around and talk to. He was a good guy.
And he told a story on Talking Dead when he was on after he got killed, and he recounted the story of how Greg Nicotero called him into his office to let him know that he's being written off the show. And Scott Walker said that he turned to Greg Nicotero and he told him, "You are making a big mistake." And he did. I mean, I love that. He recounted that story and he's like, "Oh no, you're making a big mistake writing Herschel off this show." And we miss him.
Yeah, man. I really liked him.
So that's awesome that you got to meet him. It's sad that we've lost him and he's passed away. And like I said, this action figure, it's Herschel with the two crutches. So I'm assuming one of the legs, because he's seen with both legs, is removable. Okay, but these are a collector's item. I mean, you can do what you want with it, but my recommendation is to keep it in the box because these are going to be worth a lot.
It'll never be open. Yeah, it'll never be open.
So do me a favor, when after this show, my email is all over on Instagram, YouTube. After the show, email me your shipping information, and I'll respond back.
Okay.
And we will get Herschel out to you. Okay.
Fantastic, man. Thanks.
Hey, and thank you for joining us tonight, okay?
I'm loving this. This is cool.
Oh, man. Thank you. All right. So we have tonight's winner. Summer, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't get here in time. Let me just repeat the question for Summer. Summer from Twitter was asking what the question was. The question, Summer, was Lizzie, Psycho Girl from the prison, the one that Carole had to put down, the Look at the Flowers girl. There was a scene in season 4 where they were playing with walkers on the other side of the prison fence. And Lizzie was giving them names. And one of the walkers had a name tag on him. And basically the question was, what was the name that the Walker had on his name tag, and that's what Lizzie started calling him, and the name was Nick. Bad Weather from Instagram won tonight's prize. Bad Weather, everyone is congratulating you on YouTube and Instagram. Herschel Green is off the market. Herschel Green has been spoken for. So it's okay. There's a lot more action figures coming up. So let's continue on with Maggie. Okay? Ismail wrote that he didn't think Maggie and Glenn were a good couple. Yeah, they were a little awkward in the beginning. I agree. If it wasn't for Maggie making the first moves on Glenn, I don't think those two would have ever hooked up. Gilson writes, do I have a Shane doll? I have a lot of big characters coming up. Major characters. I'm not going to reveal names, but you guys can guess. Gills is asking me if I have the Shane one. You guys have to just keep on watching and find out. We have a lot of them. And like I said, this contest is going to be going on for at least another 2.5 weeks. So, a lot more prizes to be given out. A lot more prizes, a lot more trivia questions, and they're not going to be easy. They're not going to be easy. Except, unless your name is Sass Chick from YouTube. Then they're easy. Because she knows the answer to every question. So, yeah, going back to Maggie, okay? Her, Glenn, a little awkward at first. I think they were a great couple. But just like Carole, Maggie had to face some tough stuff in her life, okay? She saw her father get his head basically chopped off by the governor. She lost her sister. And the final blow was the governor killing Glenn and seeing Glenn die the death that he got. Where he didn't die peacefully or quickly. No. Negan made him suffer. Negan bashed his head in and then spent the next 30 seconds ridiculing him. As he's sitting there with his skull crushed in. And Glenn just trying to look over at Maggie and the famous words, Maggie, I will find you. And then Negan just obliterated him. That was the straw that really broke Maggie, and she became the leader of Hilltop, She was taken to Hilltop, and that's where her, big transformation happened, okay? She was pregnant with Herschel Jr., or Herschel, they don't call him Herschel Jr. She was pregnant, she just lost her husband, and that was it for her. She wasn't going to take any more shit from anybody. She became the leader of Hilltop. She was extremely pissed off at Rick for sparing Negan. You guys all remember that scene at the end of All Out War. Marko, yep, you're right. She had a lot of people on her side that did not want to see Negan live. And if you guys remember, in one of the final scenes in Season 8, where you see Maggie in the Hilltop office talking to Jesus, and then you see Daryl creeping out from the shadows, and she tells them, we will bide our time, in her nice little southern accent, and she's a very British person, and does a very good southern accent, her and Andrew Lincoln. And, she says, we will bide our time, we'll wait, and when the time is right, that's when we'll strike. So they left us, hey, Wyatt Hamilton on Instagram. Hello back. Thank you for joining us. We hope you stay. Thank you for joining us on our show. Gil's right. That's great. Was the weakest villain of... So who was the weakest villain, Gills? Lifting Fit Journey writes, without Negan, Alpha would still be breathing. Yeah. Abby Yabar, welcome. Be giving us a big love smiley face. Thank you for joining us. Without Negan, Alpha would still be breathing. Yeah. In hindsight. Well, I mean, tell me if any of you actually, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there were. You guys wanted Negan to not get what he deserved in season 7. When he was just really shoveling that manure down everyone's throat. Just pressing down with his boot on everybody's throat. I wanted him dead. Facebook, Kay is with us. Hey Kay Valones, how you doing? On Facebook, waving back. Saschick writes, Maggie's mother and son were also in the barn. It was interesting to see another side of it because they didn't realize there wasn't any cure and they couldn't be helped. Exactly. Herschel and the whole farm group, they were keeping them alive, well, what they thought was alive, for a cure to come out. They didn't believe they were really dead. They didn't believe they were dead. And it took Shane going all apeshit on them. And while Herschel and Rick are carting off that walker to the barn, for Shane to put bullets in them, and him asking, Herschel, why are they still standing? That's 2 in the heart. Why is she still standing, Herschel? Huh? That's 1 in the liver or 1 in the stomach. She's still standing. And Rick tells him, enough. And Shane turns to him and he's like, you're right. Enough. Walks up to that walker, bam! Shoots him in the head. Or her, I think it was a female walker, drops her. He goes, he busts open that barn door. Everybody sees what's going up. They line up. The walkers start coming out, and they just take them all out. And Herschel is on his knees, just trying to comprehend what's going on. I mean, Shane made his point that they're not alive. Okay, he's trying to comprehend that. He's watching family members who up until that second thought were still alive being gunned down one by one as they're coming out of the barn. Amazing episode to what was up until that point a very slow season 2. And I said this story in one of my very, very earlier episodes. That was such an amazing episode. And when I watched it live, my children, all 3 of my children were very young. And I'm like, you know what? I started watching horror movies at 5. I mean, my kids were very young. I mean, this is 8 years ago. So I'm like, guys, you got to come in and watch this scene. So I brought my 3 young children into my office and I played back from the Shane going apeshit to Sophia getting shot by Rick. The whole scene, thinking that they would just love it. And man, was I wrong. And my wife let me have it. She tore into me. And they couldn't sleep for several nights. And to this day, they are traumatized by that event. So I said that story in one of my earlier episodes. I just wanted to repeat that. That was definitely a screw up on my end. I'm like, hey, you know what? I was watching horror movies at the age of 5. They're 6, 7, 8 or so, 9. They can handle this. Yeah, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Bad Weather writes, and Carol's daughter came out, Sophia. Absolutely. Marko writes, Shane, played by John Barenthal, the best acting. That was an amazing acting job. When he went apeshit in front of that barn, one of my favorite scenes. I don't have a favorite scene in The Walking Dead. Yeah, I can never just pick one. But that's in my top list of whatever, 5, 10, 20. That's up there. So, Maggie, we're almost out of time. Man, time flies. We're 50 minutes into this broadcast already. Ismail writes, by the way, where is Maggie's son? Oh, Maggie's son is with Maggie. So when she comes back here in the next episode, we're going to see Herschel again. Little Herschel. He's like 7 now. Ismail, you know that a lot of people thought that that masked ninja person we saw in the season finale trailer is Herschel. And a lot of people were like, really? Damn, that's pretty good for a 7-year-old. Yeah, a lot of people thought that was Herschel, little Herschel. They didn't realize that the time jump was only 7 years and not 17 years. Summer on Twitter. Yeah, I'm sorry you missed the question. Keep joining us. The show starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and I read the question a half hour into the show. So somewhere around 10 p.m. is when I actually read the question. There's still plenty of action figures left. Who do I think who is? Summer writes me, who do you think it is? As you guys can see on that universal chat screen. So, anyway, as I was saying, I lost my place. Yeah, we're running out of time here, and Maggie is not as complicated as Carole, and did not have quite the arc that Carole had, and not also the bad luck that Carole's had. Oh, Summer's asking me who do I think the masked person is. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I mean, I have a big social media following, and I've made a commentary video about it. I've asked the question. I've addressed some of the theories, and there are some wild ass theories out there, from Rick to Morgan to Dwayne, Morgan's son, to little Herschel Jr. Hard Productions thinks it could be Morgan. I heard, and the most plausible answer that I have gotten that I find credible, this is both to Summer and Hard Productions from Twitter and YouTube, is Mercer. And we have not met Mercer yet. Mercer is part of the Commonwealth. And the way I believe that is because we're going to find out where Maggie has been for these however long she's been gone, with Georgie roaming the countryside. I think they're going to... Summer writes, I'm in the Midwest, so you all are an hour ahead, I think. Yeah, 9:30 Eastern. So if you're in the Midwest, an hour back, that's at 8:30 for you. You will be on time tomorrow. Great. So we'll see you there. Summer writes, yeah, Mercer from the comics. He's going to be in the show. And Hard Productions forgot about Mercer. I really believe, and I think this is how they're going to tell him, because they have to explain what Maggie's been doing. She has not just been out roaming the countryside with Georgie, finding old records. Okay? They have not been roaming the countryside just collecting old records for Georgie, because we know that's what Georgie loves. No. She's been doing something, and I think she's met up with the Commonwealth, and I think she reads that letter, and she sends in reinforcements from the Commonwealth to come help out the group that are fighting, this group that she just finds out about called the Whisperers. So that's the most credible answer that I have heard as to who that masked ninja person is. It could be Mercer. And we also have to think about, let's not forget about Aaron. Aaron is being held at gunpoint by somebody he knows. You guys remember that scene, okay? When they get surrounded by the Whisperers, when they see the Whisperers changing directions and heading towards the hospital or the tower, whatever you want to call it. They get surrounded by Whisperers, and the Whisperers have their knives, but Aaron is held at gunpoint, and the look on Aaron's face tells it all. He recognizes the person that is holding him at gunpoint. So that is somebody that we do know, and I have no idea who it is. Again, more wild theories on the internet. Negan, a lot of people said that it was his partner that we lost in the Savior War, Eric. Not actually the Walker, because Eric died, but one of the whisperers is using Eric's face as a mask. Okay, yeah, but that has a lot of holes in it. A lot of time has passed. That would be really decayed, decrepit by now. Would Aaron even recognize that somebody's using Eric's face as a mask? I don't really buy that. I don't buy that at all. Maybe like 0.5% chance of that being possible. I don't know. But somebody he knows is holding him at gunpoint, and that's the second part. The Whisperers don't carry guns. The only guns that we ever seen any Whisperer carry was Alpha with her sawed-off shotgun. And that's the same gun that Negan used to save Daryl in the last episode, or next to the last episode that we saw. So this person that is holding Aaron up is not a Whisperer, but he's running with them. He has a gun. The Whisperers don't have guns. They go about with knives. So that's going to be more. That is more fascinating to me, to find out who's holding Aaron up. I'm more interested to find that out than to, find out who that masked ninja person is. I think that's going to be a character we've never met before, and I have a feeling it's going to be Mercer. That's what my gut tells me. Hard Production writes, one of the Whisperers had an axe, I think you're trying to say, when Alpha and the group met at the... Oh, AK. One of the Whisperers had an AK when Alpha and the group met at the border in Season 10. Oh, I don't remember that. I believe you, Hard Productions. I don't remember that. They were in the background. It was dark. Yep, I didn't see them holding a gun. But still, that look on Aaron's face, yeah, I'm very curious to find out who that is. Marko writes, maybe Heath? No. Nah. No, I give that a, 5% chance. 5% chance. Maybe Heath. I don't think we're going to see Heath again until the Rick Grimes movies. But it could be Heath. 5%. I'm at 5% with that. Eric, 0.5%. But, we could sit here and guess all day. Bottom line is we don't know. These showrunners, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing when they're putting these trailers together to give us just enough to tease us, but not enough to give it away. Not enough to give it away. So we can sit here and guess all we want. We don't know. We don't know. Anyway, guys, we have less than 2 minutes left before Instagram cuts us off. Ismail writes, that's true. I want to thank all you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you, Marko, our producer, for manning the chat lines and for being my producer and giving us all this great content and giving us all these great trivia questions. So thank you, Marko. If you haven't already subscribed, please head on over to our YouTube channel. It's called Walking Dead Now. Even if you watch us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, if you want to support us, please head on over to our YouTube channel called Walking Dead Now and just hit the old subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will be back on the air again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Saz says thank you for another great live chat. Saz, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Summer. Good night to everyone on Instagram. Khalid, Bad Weather. Congratulations, Bad Weather. Good night, Ismail. Till tomorrow, guys. Stay walking.